GMAE, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, evening. My name is John Willett. Thank you for listening or watching to episode number 8. 8 episodes, and yeah, I know it's late. I know. Stop it. I know I'm late. I'm a whole bunch late. I apologize. It's been a crazy 3 weeks. We'll get into that in a little bit, but thank you very much for listening or watching. That was the Fabulous Potholders, as you know. The rumors are not true. They have not been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. However, they are going to be making the Rock and Blues Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. One of the members' guitars is going to end up there. Of course, it used to belong to Robert Johnson, but that's neither here nor there. It's going to be donated by the Fabulous Potholders. So there you go. Hope you have been doing well. I hope you have had a good weekend. As I said, mine has been a little crazy. For those of you looking at me on YouTube, the YouTube channel that we have, which is, of course, Potholes and Cadillac Dreams, you notice that my hair looks like poop, or like shit, or like caca, or like doo-doo, or like number 2. Anything you want to come up with. For those of you that are listening to me, whether you're hiking, riding, biking, sitting in a desk, leaning, lounging, eating, whatever you're doing, it would behoove you, if you can, to go to the YouTube channel and pull up Potholes and Cadillac Dreams and check out the way my hair looks right now. As I have told you all, my hair was my pride and joy. I'm 67. I was happy to have hair, first of all. Second of all, it looked pretty good. I mean, mostly brown, a little bit of gray, but you would expect that. So I went to a place to get my hair cut. It rhymes with Fair Nuttery. Don't want to say the name of the place, but Fair Nuttery, that's what it rhymes with. Rhymes with sounds like whatever. And I actually showed the nice lady a picture, 2 pictures actually. I showed her this one, and I showed her this one. These were taken when I was on a cruise and got a haircut and facial and all that, and spent buku money, but I really like the way my hair turned out. As some of you know, watching the YouTube channel, my hair was getting kind of long, so I thought, hey, get a haircut. Yeah, this would come under the heading, by the way, of your daily potholes. Not just the potholes that build up over time where you find yourself shoulder deep, but it's one of those where you're just walking along and boop, there you are. Yeah, this is one of those daily potholes. So I show her the pictures. I say, this is what I would like. Can you do this? Sure, I can. Sure. Oh, absolutely, I can. Yeah, right. So she takes her shears and she runs them across the side of my head, making it extremely short. As you all looking can see, very short. She then shears me on the other side, making it very short. So I have these 2 little sheared areas and this big mop at the top. And I thought to myself, holy hell, I'm pot committed. So she then proceeds to cut it as short as you see, which is basically, I would say, what, U.S. Army recruit style? Very short on the top, almost a crew cut, but not quite. Maybe a tiny bit longer than a crew cut. And then she smiled and said, what did you think? Is it too short? And I just wanted to, I wanted to torch the place. But I was good because, I don't want to upset any of you by some sort of profane outburst. But I am going to get in touch with the nice folks who run this particular store and tell them that this was the absolute and total and complete and utter worst haircut I have ever received in my entire life, and that I will never be going back. Fortunately, I live in a neighborhood where people have been just inundating me with places that I can go, people that I can see, that would fix this monstrosity once I get it, of course, long enough to get it fixed, which, looking at it right now, would take about 3 to 6 months. And but what's really funny, of course, is that people are just volunteering this. They're going, oh, you got a haircut. You really should go to my place. Oh, you got a haircut. Oh, that's interesting. There's a place that I go to right off of NOLA Road. Oh, look at that's really, have you thought of going somewhere else? That's the type of thing I've been getting. which isn't good, which is not good at all. So there you are. That's a daily pothole. And I figured what I would do is chat with you for the rest of my 30 minutes about daily potholes that we all face every now and then. Potholes that are just unavoidable. I mean, at some point they're going to happen, and you just roll with it. I mean, am I functioning with this haircut? Yeah. Am I happy about it? Am I happy about it? No. Not happy. But we move on. So that's one of those things. So we mentioned my haircut, traffic. Now, if you all are listening to me in a big city, you're all familiar about traffic. If you're listening to me in a small town, strangely enough, you're familiar with traffic. Case in point, when I lived in Bar Harbor, Maine, which is a town of 5,500 people, there was a friend of mine who is an attorney, who would complain constantly about the traffic because, as you know, Bar Harbor is a seasonal town. Lots and lots of people want to come and visit Bar Harbor, Maine. And so our little tiny streets would get crowded and people would be walking across and jaywalking and, you'd almost hit them and people would make U-turns in the middle of the street. And this guy would complain all the time about traffic. Traffic. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's awful. And he's from Nova Scotia. So, he had this weird little accent. He would talk real fast. Oh, there's traffic. And then he would say bad words, which I'm not going to repeat. I've already said one. And that's enough for this episode. I try to do one an episode just to keep you all on the edge of your seats to think about where and when I'm going to spew out filth. But anyway, he would talk like this and go, oh, traffic, just terrible traffic. Oh my God. So I thought to myself, well, he should really see what traffic is. So he really wanted to go to a Washington Redskins game. I had a buddy of mine who still had tickets. I had season tickets for years and years and got rid of them when I moved up to Maine. And my buddy had some extra tickets, and we arranged for this friend of mine and I to drive down for the Redskins Dallas game. I think this is 2009, just in case you Redskins fans out there are keeping track. I think it was a 2009 game. Anyway, so I told my friend, I said, now listen, you got to be at my place at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, why 4 o'clock in the morning? That's way too early. I said, well, and the traffic. Now, that's the way I put it to him. The traffic. I did not tell him that I was trying to hit the traffic or that I wanted to be bumper to bumper in the traffic so that he would see what the traffic is really like. We hit the Baltimore Harbor Tunnel about 4:30. This is on a Thursday. So this is right in the middle of the worst mess. And then we proceeded from the Baltimore Harbor Tunnel. I went on, instead of going 95, which would have been a little bit easier, I went 295. So you in DC know 295, 2 lanes either way, completely bottlenecked up during rush hour, both ways, terrible, awful. Hit 295. Then the Beltway, bless its little heart, didn't do anything wrong by me either because it was jam-packed. And then we finally got to 95. It was at 95 headed toward Washington, D.C. So from roughly Alexandria to Washington, we were headed to the Sheraton, which I'm trying to remember what street it was on. But it was a little ways. Seminary Road, maybe? Does that ring a bell with you all? Anyway, it was jam bumper to bumper. Then we got lucky in that way. So it took from 4:30. Normally it would take about an hour to get from where we were going from the Baltimore Harbor Tunnel to this particular hotel. We got there at 7:30 that night. 3 hours. Bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper. And he never said a word about Bar Harbor traffic again. Never, ever, ever. Oh, he would say to people, oh, you blame it on traffic? Oh, I've seen traffic. Oh, have I seen the traffic? Oh, my buddy and I went to a football game and all the traffic. That's what I was kind of hoping for. So, yeah, DC's got traffic. Everybody's got traffic. Florida's got traffic, especially I-4. We found that I-4 is a lot worse than 95. I-4 is a parking lot, particularly if you get near Orlando, because everybody wants to see the mouse. They want to go see the mouse. They want to play with the mouse. They want to see the mouse's treasures. They want to go to the places that the mouse created and built. And it's crazy. So anywhere near Orlando on either way is crowded because people are getting off and they're spending exorbitant amounts of cash to go see the mouse. Arizona, it would be, this is now the 80s and early 90s that I remember, but it still had traffic because they were really expanding. It was Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe, Mesa. Glendale was just starting. It isn't Glendale like you all know it now with the stadium and all that. It was Glendale, kind of a sleepy town, but I-17 could be a bugger. And I remember it was a bugger. They were just starting kind of the inner loop there in Phoenix, and that was crowded on occasion. Normally your basic rush hour type traffic, but it got your attention, and you could get in serious trouble if you were not paying attention and ended up rear-ending somebody or whatever. So there was traffic in Arizona. As I said, seasonal in Bar Harbor, but when the season hit, it was crazy insane because, of course, you had folks who would buy those big campers, those ones that you can drive all over, and they're huge, and they don't know how to drive them, and so they would try to make a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn and end up going over sidewalks and running over trash cans, and just insane, absolutely insane in Bar Harbor. So traffic is everywhere. So stop complaining about the traffic because you're going to face traffic wherever you are, and that's just the way it's going to be. Let's see. Things to do. People complain about lack of things to do in particular towns. I've been blessed with the fact that I've lived in Washington, D.C., which is just an epicenter of activity. You've got sports team. If you're a sports fan, it's nirvana because you've got college sports, you've got professional sports, you've got football, baseball, basketball. You've got great conferences. Georgetown belonged to, I think it's a Big 8, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. Georgetown belonged to a great conference. University of Maryland belonged to the ACC, of course, which was a great conference. So you got to see great football, basketball, if you're a college fan. High school sports everywhere. Obviously, when I lived there, you had the Redskins, you had the Capitals, you had the you had the Orioles. You had the Orioles until I left, and then you got the Nationals in 2005, and then but before that it was the Baltimore Orioles, and so there was a ton to do. The Wizards, the Bullets and the Wizards. There you go, the Bullets when I was living there, and then they turned into the Wizards, and then there's everything. You've got a plethora of stuff to do. Obviously, you've got the Kennedy Center, so you get great theater, great acts there. There's all kinds of places to see live concerts. There's places outdoors, indoors. So DC was terrific. When I lived in Arizona in the, like I said, the late 80s to 90s, they had just built the Coliseum that the Phoenix Suns play in. And it was beautiful. And so they've got equally amounts of stuff. I never got to see the stadium that the Diamondbacks play in, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Major League team. Never got to see that. And I have driven by the stadium where the Cardinals play. I used to watch the Cardinals at Sun Devil Stadium. They had just moved from St. Louis to Phoenix about the time that I arrived in Arizona, so I was fortunate enough not to miss professional football for long, which was nice. Arizona has a ton of stuff going on. Wonderful place to live, wonderful things to do. I would say we're finding out about Florida. I've only been here a year, so we're kind of finding out about the things to do in Florida. You've got the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is the team that I'm currently rooting for. They're only about an hour, 15 minutes away. We hope to get to a game this year, but I'm spoiled because I had season tickets for the Redskins, and tailgates were legendary, and at some point you'll get to hear more about that. But the Jaguars, and then you've got the Orlando Magic, you've got two hockey teams in Florida, you've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously you've got spring training, which is terrific. Got to see the Yankee Stadium in Tampa. My wife treated me to tickets for the Yankees and the Nationals preseason. Exhibition game, preseason. I'm getting them all confused now. But their stadium is flat gorgeous and extremely well run, and it was a gorgeous stadium to be in. I also saw a Detroit Tigers Philadelphia Phillies game this year, which was fun. We have the Daytona Tortugas, which is a single A franchise in just about 15-20 minutes from here. Jackie Robinson Stadium, first place that Jackie Robinson ever played Major League Baseball. And they're a lot of fun. If you've ever been to a minor league game, you know that minor league games are what it is. It's just way too much fun. Stuff going on between innings, lots of contests and whatever. Food's pretty good. It's actually in a really good area because there are restaurants up and down the street across the way from Jackie Robinson Stadium. So it's a great place to go. My wife and I go there we call it date night, and we go out to dinner, and then we go to a ball game. And it's a lot of fun. They are the single A affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds. They used to be with the Chicago Cubs. And if you live in the Daytona area and are seeing this or viewing this or hearing this, I would highly recommend go out and spend an evening at the ballpark. It's a whale of a good time. Lots of live things to do. Lots of concerts. Orlando has a stadium stadium. We'll call it that. That attracts a lot of acts. And there's also live music all over the place. So Florida's a decent place, but as I said, we're trying to get used to what we have available to us here. And we're getting used to it. It's different. I can tell you, I've mentioned 3 spots. The 4th spot I lived in was Bar Harbor, and there was, unless, I will caveat this, unless you are a fan of the outdoors. If you are a fan of the outdoors, Bar Harbor, Maine is right in your wheelhouse, because holy cow, they got Acadia National Park, you got all kinds of other things. You can hike, like I say in the beginning, to all of you that are podcasting it, you can hike, you can bike, you can walk, you can climb, you can do whatever. It is chock full, one of the best national parks in the country. It is an outdoors person's paradise. There are places to swim. There are places to just sit and read a book. There's trails. There are hidden trails. There are good trails. There's all kinds of stuff going on. If you like the outdoors. Now, I like the outdoors, but I'm not crazy about the outdoors. So, and that's where it ended. There are some restaurants, but of course, during the season, they're incredibly crowded. And then off season, they're incredibly closed. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you happen to know somebody, if you happen to know an owner, or 2 or 3, like we did toward the last few years we were there, you're able to get into restaurants with not too much of a hassle. But for the last couple of years in Bar Harbor, there have been literally 2 to 2.5 hour waits for people to get into restaurants. There's a lot of shopping, but again, there's a lot of people. So if you're looking for, let's say, for example, you're looking for like a shirt, like I'm wearing right now, black pullover shirt, forget it. You have to go to Walmart 35 minutes away in Ellsworth because they don't have a men's clothing place in Bar Harbor. That's just one example of the stuff that is not there. As I think I mentioned to you all, I had open heart surgery. As a matter of fact, we're coming on the 1-year anniversary of it on July 12th. And I had it in Halifax Hospital, which is about 15 to 18 minutes away from here, thank goodness. And had I had to have it in Bar Harbor, I would have gone to the Bar Harbor Hospital, MDI Hospital. And then what they would have done is they would have transferred me to Boston, which is a 5.5 hour drive from there. 5.5 hour drive from there. So as much as I was apprehensive and nervous and honestly scared to death over this surgery, imagine if I'd had to drive in a car 5.5 hours away to do this. It would have been very, very difficult. So there's some things to do in Bar Harbor, but in comparison with DC or Daytona Beach or Phoenix, Arizona, no. There really wasn't that much to do. And that was a daily pothole. It was, you just dealt with it. And that's basically what a daily pothole is. You step in it, you deal with it, you step out of it, you move on. You get a bad haircut, okay, next you learn. You're never going there again. You live in a place, there's a lot of things to do, but you got a lot of traffic. You go, okay, well, you avoid for example, Florida, you avoid I-4 during this time. You go 95 and you take a few extra minutes and you miss a lot of traffic. If you want to go someplace, you know you're going to, in Daytona, if we're going to see a professional league, you're going an hour. So you just plan on it. You just do what you have to do. The one good thing about living in Florida, in terms of things to do, is we do not have to fly in anywhere to go on a cruise. Because, as you all know, cruises basically hail out of Tampa or Miami or Fort Lauderdale. And we don't have to fly. We don't have to fly there anymore. We can just drive there, maybe stay overnight in a hotel, maybe not, depending on traffic, and we're set and ready to go. That's a good thing because we like to cruise. So that's one thing that we get away from. Now, let's see. Oh, work. Let's talk about work, because work provides us with lots and lots of daily potholes, whether it's the people that we work with, or it's the work we do, or it's the place that we work, or it's how we get to work or go from work, or where we go to eat when we've stopped work and are ready for lunch or dinner or whatever. Whether we have enough equipment to do our work, whether we need to deal with this person or that person or this person or that person while we're working and we're not particularly fond of them. Work has lots and lots of daily potholes. For example, as you all know, I own my own store. The one good thing about owning your own store is if you have challenges with your staff, you really don't need to chat with anybody else. You don't need to consult with anybody else. You don't need to reference anybody or anything else. You just handle it and you do what you have to do and you let that person go and you wish them a fine life. You can't do that in a bigger environment. I cannot tell you exactly what I do, but I am the manager of a much, much bigger store. I'm the manager. I am not the owner. I am dealing now, unfortunately, with corporate. If you're dealing with corporate, that's an entirely different thing than if you own your own place. When I had my cigar stores, I basically ran the show. If someone bothered me, out they went. If we had challenges with the customers, I handled it. If there were any other challenges, I dealt with it. But I dealt with it. I did not have to go through lots of folks to deal with it. That is a daily pothole. It's one that I'm fine with. It's one that I don't mind because the people I am going to help me with this have been in the corporate world for years. So they understand, fortunately, the challenges that I undergo. And they have been extremely helpful in helping me to, while not maybe eliminating the challenges, at least getting it to a point where I can walk over that pothole without dropping to my nose in it. Getting into the pothole, out of the pothole, moving on so that we keep moving forward rather than stepping backwards into the same pothole, if you understand what I'm saying. So the folks that are helping me in this regard, and I've only been at this, honestly, it's been about three and a half weeks now, roughly. They've been terrific. So, when I say daily potholes, it certainly doesn't include them because they've been nothing but extremely helpful in challenges that I've had and things that I've had to deal with. But it's just dealing with that. And you deal with it, I'm sure, on a daily basis. Those of you listening, those of you watching, there are things that you have to deal with. And you just do. You just wander through and you deal with it. You say, there's nothing I can do about this. Do I like the job I'm doing? Yes. Do I like the people I'm with? Yes. Do I like the environment I'm in? Yes. Okay, I have this one pothole. You deal with it and you move on. maybe you don't cover the pothole up completely. Maybe, it just gets a little enough so that you can climb out of it and head on down the road, but that's what you do. That's a daily pothole. And so you handle it. Did I say handle it? I think I've said handle it like 35 or 40 times. So that could be a drinking game. Anytime I say handle it, you take a drink. But by that time, you would have been hammered and have hit the button, and you wouldn't have watched the rest of this. So I guess I should move on now. Okay. You know what? I wrote down clothes shopping, but we've kind of already covered that. Clothes shopping in Florida is fine because I have the Tanger outlets right near me. Clothes shopping in DC was fine because I had clothes shops near me. Clothes shopping in Arizona was great because I lived across from a mall at the time, which was a thriving mall, now a closed mall, by the way. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a closed mall. It actually had a little mini amusement park outside of it with a Ferris wheel and whatever. You all know what it is. Once I said that, you probably know exactly where it is. It's like right off of I-17 on I can't remember the street. Unfortunately, I should really write these things down, but you could see it from you could actually see it from the street from I-17, and I've actually worked near there, and I lived right across the street from it. So if I needed anything to buy, I would just walk across and get something and walk back. But Bar Harbor, like I said, you had to go 35 minutes to Ellsworth, and really, even then, if you really wanted Walmart clothes, you have to go another 10 to 15 into Ellsworth proper to the town in order to find anything that was semi-decent. And really, if you wanted something even more than semi-decent, you had to go to Bangor, which was a good hour and 15 minutes away. So that's not good. It's just not good. So, kudos to the big towns that have lots and lots of stuff. So there we go. I think we've covered a few of the day-to-day potholes that we all face in our everyday struggles. If you can think of any more, please get in touch with me. That would be John Willett, JOHNWILLETT 1218 at gmail.com. JohnWillett1218 at gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. We finish with, obviously, Demi Bennett. Demi Bennett. Would love to talk to Demi Bennett. Would love to talk to Demi Bennett about such things as, the fact that she's hugely successful at the age of 28. And I'm telling you about my daily potholes and about me having to manage something at the age of 67. Oh my, bad life choices versus good life choices. There you go. That's what I'd like to talk to her about. And then, of course, Christy Merton Salters, my friend. I would love to chat with her about her book and about her documentary and all the things she's got going on with Christy's Champs. I think that would be very, very cool. I never really know what we're going to cover because I'm really trying to get my buddy Jeff to come on and talk to you about what we call the story, which is my happenings on November 5th, 2006, at a tailgate involving the Redskins and the Cowboys. It's quite the story, and he says that he remembers a lot more than I did, which is not surprising considering what I did. So I'm wondering whether that's going to happen this Friday or next Friday, but it's going to happen very, very soon. So stay tuned to this local station for that update and for that news. In the meantime, I want you all to look at this. I'm almost finishing at the 30-minute mark. This is fabulous. I'm so proud of myself today. I want you all to have a great day. Thank you very much for listening to episode 8. We're sorry it's late. We're going to do much, much better next time. We promise. I want you to have a good week. I want you to have a good weekend upcoming. I will be talking to you in a few days. Have a great day. Have a great time. And, by the way, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Heavens to Betsy. Holy cow. Like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.